2 kali rasanya sebabkan ada masalah sedikit. Okay, now I don't know whether who is yang moderating ataupun saya mulakan terus. Saya tak pastilah pagi ni macam mana. Dr. Zolman adakah? Dr. Zolman is atau Dr. Azli macam mana? Can I just start right away? Okay, tak apalah. Saya rasa mungkin kita boleh mulakan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera kepada semua sahabat-sahabat ahli akademik Unit 10 dan mungkin juga rakan-rakan ahli akademik daripada universiti lain yang mungkin juga ada mendengar melalui Facebook. Kita ada live stream on Facebook. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, Mr. Rosli boleh nampak tak skrin saya?
Nampak, Prof. Nampak.
Nampak ya?
Okay.
Saya punya audio jelas.
Jelas, okey. Alhamdulillah.
Okey, alhamdulillah. Okey, lagi sekali salam sejahtera kepada semua para sahabat yang dapat join kita pada pagi ini. Saya tengok tadi dalam 20 orang, tapi tak apa. Pagi ini mungkin kita boleh mengambil peluang ini untuk membuat sedikit reflection ataupun muhasabah ataupun imbasan perjalanan akademia, perjalanan kita sebagai seorang ahli akademik di Unit 10 in particular. Some of you probably have been teaching for quite some time, maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, maybe more than 20 years. So maybe it's good time sometimes from time to time to pause, to take a moment to pause, look back, and do some reflection of our journey so far. What have we achieved? What we have not achieved? And how can we become better? How can we improve our practices, especially in terms of teaching, as well as research and other things that we have to do as an academic. So the topic this morning is becoming a better educator through professional development. I use the broad term educator here because it encompasses as a lecturer, as a teacher, as a trainer, as long as we do some form of teaching. Okay, and previously I have I've shared the topic about professionalism in teaching. So this is actually closely related, but there are other additional things that I want to share today. So basically this topic is about unlocking your full teaching potential through continuous professional development, or CPD. Because I think currently we don't have a proper CPD program at Unit 10, but inshallah we will, with CAFEL, and we hopefully we can roll out the CPD program together with our competency framework for teaching excellence in the first quarter next year. So it's coming soon to us. So continuous professional development is important, and I will try to make a case or try to convince you why it is very important for our institution and also for all the staff. academic staff and also non-academic staff. So we will discover the benefits of professional development, the different types of professional development, and the strategies for effective development. You don't want to come or to attend any program, including this morning, and spend some time, your precious time, and then after that, doesn't change anything in our practice, especially in terms of how we do our teaching and so on. So basically the objective is very simple, to emphasize the importance of ongoing professional development in the ever-evolving field of education. And the goal is to inspire educators to pursue lifelong learning and stay abreast of the latest educational research and trends, ensuring their teaching remains relevant and impactful. Because we are living now in the world of VUCA, the world that is volatile, complex, uncertain, and ambiguous. So things are changing. It's very dynamic. Every second, every minute, every day, every month, the things are moving very, very fast. So I want to start with this quote. It's actually the original quote, I think, is from Ernest Hemingway. And yesterday I mentioned to a group of our friends yesterday, don't mistake motion for action. This is actually from Ernest Hemingway. So basically, in different form here, it says that do not confuse motion and progress. A rocking horse keeps moving but does not make any progress. So in other words, in our day-to-day work, our day-to-day life, especially when we come to the office 8 hours a day, we always feel that we are very busy, extremely busy. We feel that we are doing a lot of things, busy. Yeah. But then at the end of the day, when we look at what we have done, what we have achieved, what we have accomplished today, or at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the semester, at the end of the year, when we start to count what we have achieved in terms of meaningful and impactful outcome or output and outcome, then suddenly we realize, whoa, all this time I feel that I'm very busy, and yet I have accomplished only this much. So that's why we need to be very careful. Another way I put this when I share with the young lecturers, I said, check your speedometer. Always check your speedometer, just like when we are driving. Are we driving at speed, or is it below the normal speed, or too fast? Instead of 110 kilometer per hour, we drive 180 kilometer per hour. Too fast is not good. Too slow is also can pose risk to other drivers. So maybe we want to drive at speed. But again, don't mistake motion for action. We feel that we are moving so fast, and yet we don't accomplish anything meaningful. So that's basically to start to set the scene of our discussion or my sharing this morning. Now, in the context of as a lecturer, as a teacher, as an educator, time-based experience versus innovation. So what I'm trying to say here, if we look at the quote by Don Wettrick here, innovation teacher for 18 years, he said this, you should constantly change and adapt with your students. You can teach 20 years, but please don't teach 1 year 20 times. So basically, essentially what he said here, if you say that you have been teaching for so long, 10 years, 20 years, but actually every semester, we keep repeating, doing the same thing again and again. And we don't really bother to do something new, to introduce something new, to introduce innovation, new ideas, new ways in getting students to really, learn, to give them the best learning experience. So we keep doing the same thing. We keep using the same PowerPoint every semester. We keep doing the same activities. So we don't really um, come up with something innovative, something creative that will make learning more interesting, more fun, more meaningful, more impactful, more effective for our students. That what it means by you can teach 20 years, but please don't teach 1 year 20 times. So to me, time-based experience doesn't mean that if you have been teaching for so long, that you are better than someone who just basically teach for 5 years. Maybe someone who has been teaching for maybe 5 years, but during the 5 years, the person has actually tried so many new things, new ideas, new innovation that make learning more interesting for their student. So someone who's been teaching maybe shorter, probably better than someone who has been teaching for so long, because he or she has been doing something new every day, every semester, not every day maybe, every semester, always introduce something new. So that's where the progress comes. Yeah. So here, basically, when we talk about professional development, we are looking at the potential. Everyone has a lot of potential, but sometimes you don't realize we have not basically developed the potential fully, or we have not unleashed the full potential. We only realize that we have more potential when we are facing adversity. We are facing with new challenge. Remember during the pandemic, the early days of pandemic, March 2020, a lot of people at that time have not tried on using online learning platform, teaching online. So, but when everyone is forced to teach online, suddenly they have to learn new skill, new way of doing things. And then probably at that point, many people realize that, I can learn this thing. It's not that difficult. I can learn and I can apply, I can improve, I can make it better. So then people realize there's more potential that they have not yet unleashed. So having potential is not good enough, but you need to make that potential, develop that potential, unleash the potential so that it translates into a real performance, it translates into productivity. So let yours shine. That's basically the essence of professional development. Now, let me ask you a question. If you can quickly respond in the chat. What is your best investment so far for your personal and professional growth? Can you share in the chat box? Let me check let me find the chat. Okay. My question just now, can you reflect on what you during 10 years, 20 years that we have been here at Unit 10, in terms of personal and professional development, what is your, how much have you invested in your professional development? What's your best investment so far? So that's a question. What is your best investment so far for your personal and professional growth? So let me check in the chat box. Puan Zurina here. Okay, oh, Dr. Jana is here. Books and online courses. Well, this is good. Invest in books can be expensive, but to me, books are one of the investment that we can spend our money on, especially, I mean, in the context of teaching and learning, yeah, in the context of teaching and learning, and also on other things that can help us to become a more holistic educator. Hadir training, kata Ustaz Rosli. Webinar seperti sekarang, invest apa yang ada, masa, tenaga, dan pulus. Yeah, when I say investment, it's an investment in our time. Just like now, we are spending like 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours. We feel that with 2 hours or 1 hour, we can do a lot of other things. But rather than doing these other things, we make a point to attend and listen and learn, and that is where, you know, we want to get the value from the time that we invest, so that we can hopefully we can apply that immediately in our teaching, in our classroom, and so on. Sometimes we have to invest in terms of energy. Yeah, in terms of energy. Yeah, of course, attending, let's say, 1 full day workshop can be very tiring. So it requires energy. We need to have the energy to do that. So we invest our energy. And of course, money, pulus. Yeah, when we buy books, we subscribe to online courses, for example. It can take like a few hundreds, a few thousand even, you know, or 1,000 or 2,000 ringgit a year to spend on books and so on. But then I think we should not be too calculative in terms of investing money, energy, and time, because the return of investment in terms of learning, in terms of how we will improve our skill, our perspective, the way we look at things, and so on, it will be immense. It will be immense. It will be tremendous. I'm speaking here from my own experience. I have invested a lot in terms of money, energy, time, and I think it has done a lot for me. So I really want to convince everyone here, my colleagues here at Unit 10, do not be too berkira sangat lah, too calculative sangat in terms of attending webinar like this, spending money to buy books, subscribe to online courses, subscribe to whatever that is useful, taking a certified courses on from Cisco, from Microsoft, from various providers, because it can really add to our kind of professionalism. Yeah. Prof. Izam here, learning new methods to make my work better. Yeah, I think this is good point here, because on one hand, we talk about our teaching. On the other hand, we talk about our subject matter. So one is on the pedagogy. I'm going to talk about that. The other one is on the subject matter that we teach, because we want to be a real expert in the course or in the subject that we are teaching, so that students would benefit from us as an expert in the subject matter. Dr. Muhammad here, collaboration with experts in the same discipline. This is also a very good point, as part of the professional development, part of the networking as well. Make time to learn and explore new methods, new techniques, and approaches. This is also a very good point. And I will show later on, I will show some example of my own experience, how I do this in the past, to learn new methods for my research, to learn new approach in my teaching, and so on. All right, thank you for your response. Let me switch back to the presentation. So the bottom line that I want to make clear from this, when come to personal and professional development, we must be willing to invest. Invest what? Invest money, invest time, invest energy. But we must be careful. We must be very selective in what we invest in, because when you invest money to let's say register in online course or to buy books, you want to get the most from the course or from the books. So be very selective in what you invest in, so that you get the maximum impact, maximum benefits from your investment. Highest return of investment, highest ROI, and highest ROV, return of value. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. We look at Unit 10 as an organization or institution. Any institution or any organization consists of people. There will be no organization, there will be no institution without people. And if we want the institution to be successful, if we want the Unit 10 to be excellent and successful and become one of the top universities in Malaysia and also globally, every single person must be empowered so that they are empowered, they are able to deliver what is expected of them in terms of their job description, in terms of what they're supposed to do, in terms of what they're supposed to deliver for Unit 10. So the institution or Unit 10 in this context is responsible to design a program to empower their people, to provide them with the necessary knowledge and skill, so that they can function, they can deliver what is expected of them, deliver to the best and beyond the best. So this is what empower people to empower organization means. An empowered organization or institution is one in which individuals have the knowledge, the skill, the desire, the motivation, and the opportunity. They have the opportunity to prove that they can deliver. So the knowledge, the skill, desire, and opportunity to personally succeed in a way that leads to collective organizational success. This from Stephen Covey, the author of the 7 Habits of Successful People, classic book. But I think this particular slide, I think very important for all of us to really understand and internalize the message here. For Unit 10 to succeed, to become excellent institution, everyone must be able to deliver what is expected to them, what is expected of them beyond excellence. Not only deliver just enough, but beyond that. Can you imagine if everyone has this kind of mindset, that I'm here as a staff of Unit 10 in any position, as an academic, non-academic, administrators, and so on, from the top to the bottom to the ground, everyone is trying to deliver beyond the best. As a result, we together will contribute collectively to achieve the vision and mission of Unit 10. So to make this happen, we must empower everyone to do what they expected to do. So this is what CAFEL. So I'm selling CAFEL here. Dr. Johanna is here. So CAFEL, as you know, is now a new kind of center. We merged TLC and DLC and expanded a little bit also in terms of function. So this is a call to everyone here to support whatever agenda that CAFEL is trusted on to deliver, to deliver for Unit 10. Without your support, then whatever excellent initiative and program that we have for next year and onwards, we cannot translate that into whatever outcome that whatever output and outcome that we hope to achieve. Because it's a collective effort. Everyone is an agent of change. Everyone can contribute, in many possible ways. Okay. Now, the institution, through centers like CAFEL in Unit 10, would devise a program, run a program to empower people. But as I mentioned just now, if the people do not respond, they don't reciprocate, they don't care, they don't bother. They say, oh, we are too busy with all this thing, and why should I spend 1 hour, 2 hours to listen to whoever the speaker happened to be? Like this morning, why should I listen to this old guy? I probably might as well do some other things. So this is where the motivation comes in. We need this intrinsic motivation in everyone. This is what we call self-empowerment. We need to empower ourselves, because the institution now is trying their best to empower their staff. But we must respond to it. This is where self-empowerment is. When we talk about personal development and professional development, there's one thing very important here: motivation. And the best motivation is intrinsic motivation, come from inside, not external motivation. Meaning that when you start asking questions, what's in it for me? If I spend 2 hours listening to this speaker, what's in it for me? How it can help me to improve or achieve this KPI, or to do whatever, or to improve my teaching, and so on. So when you start asking questions, what's in it for me, then you are thinking about external reward, incentive. So to me, external motivation, external reward and incentive is not sustainable. When you get a reward, you get motivated, then after that, the motivation will kind of die off. Then you need another reward. Then you get motivated again. It's not sustainable. It requires a lot of money and so on. But if you are doing something driven by your own passion, driven by your own awareness, that you know that by doing this, by learning this skill and so on, it can improve my teaching, it can improve my engagement with my students and so on. So we have to take charge. Self-empowerment is about taking charge of our own life, our own career, our own progress, our own things and so on. So self-empowerment refers to the process of taking control of one's own life, taking control of your belief, action, to create positive change and achieve personal growth. Personal growth first. It involves developing a strong sense of self-awareness, confidence, and resilience. Self-empowerment enables individuals to recognize their own strengths and abilities, set meaningful goals, overcome obstacles, and make choices that align with their values and aspirations. I want to say something about recognize their own strengths and abilities. There is a phenomenon or something called imposters syndrome or something, meaning that we always doubt. It is a self-doubt. Some people, they always doubt their their ability, doubt their their ability to deliver, to do something. They always questions, whether I have the ability, whether I have the skill, whether I can do this, whether I can do that. They don't realize actually their potential. They have the potential, but they have this deep kind of self-doubt. So this is something that we have to address. If we have that kind of, feeling, then we have to try to learn how to empower ourselves, take charge of our own life, believe in ourselves, believe in our ability. If we don't do this, then it's very hard for us to develop ourselves personally. Then when you cannot develop yourself, you cannot grow personally. So you cannot take care of your own personal life, your own personal things. How do you expect to grow professionally in your job, in your work? How do you expect that to happen? Because you are not taking care of your personal development. So what I'm trying to say here, and this is a very important point here, personal growth first, because it will drive professional growth. And this, I've been repeating this point again and again when I have the opportunity, reiterate this again and again, because I'm a strong believer. And basically, I think these are my own words. I don't know whether I've read somewhere, but I think this is my own words. And I am quite a kind of sentimental here, because this is what I really believe in. Personal growth first, take care of yourself, your family first. Then only you have a peace of mind to take care of your professional growth, your work, your job, your career. So personal growth is often a key driver of professional growth. As, as the development of personal skill and attributes can significantly enhance one's professional capabilities. When you have a peace of mind at home, when you have a strong self-confidence, you don't have this imposter kind of syndrome. So that will give a strong foundation for you now to focus on your work. Okay? So essentially, by investing in personal growth, individuals are laying a solid foundation for advancing their professional careers, as the skill and qualities honed in personal life invariably spill over to their professional lives. Itu maksudnya, that's what it means by personal growth, drive professional growth, leading to improved performance, greater job satisfaction, and potential career advancement. I hope after this session, I will share all the slides, don't worry. I will give the link at the end. After this session, I hope you can find another like 1 hour, half an hour to go through all the slides and immerse yourself in deep thinking. Try to make sense of a lot of points in this presentation and do a real self-reflection. Trust me, if you do this from time to time, there's no way we can go astray, meaning that there's no way you will be off track. Because there's a tendency people will go off track because they just go by the flow. They don't stop and look back, take stock. So sometimes they don't realize they are moving in the wrong direction. So please take this as an advice from me. Now, so we want to empower people through PD, professional development. I really wish that every 400 academic staff in Unit 10 can listen to this, because this is a very important message. Because next year when we roll out our competency framework plus the CPD, well, I guess at that point in time, we are going to do the roadshow again to explain about this, because we want people to come to CPD program run by CAFEL. We don't want them to come because they feel they have to, because they want to get a CPD point. because they are being forced to attend. Again, this is not sustainable. We want people to come with the intrinsic motivation. They are driven by their own motivation to learn and to improve themselves, to grow personally and professionally. So personal and professional growth through professional development program. I believe if when we roll out this program based on the competency framework that we have, plus the CPD system that we're going to have, Unit 10 will go up to the next level in terms of performance, in terms of clear direction for their people. Something that I want to share with you, in the world of learning and development, L&D world, in the corporate especially, this one is very common. 70-20-10 approach to learning. If you Google this one, you will get a lot of information. You can download a lot of free ebook on this one as well. What is this 70-20-10? By the way, I also use this model to design my class. For 1 hour class, there's a model called 70-20-10 as well, meaning that 70% of the time will be focused on activities, engagement of the student through learning activities, problem solving, group work, and so on. 20% is allocate the time for discussion together with the lecturer, and 10% where the time for students to give their own reflection, what they have learned, what they do not understand, and so on. But this one is 70-20-10 is looking at the approach to learning in general. And basically, 10% of learning happen in the formal learning, only 10%. So can you imagine the students spend 4 years to take a degree, bachelor degree at Unit 10. This is what we call formal learning environment. But when they go out to work, research has shown that the graduate will only apply between 10 to 20% of what they have learned during the 4 years. Imagine that. So we designed 4-year curriculum hoping that they will use the knowledge and the skill in the workplace. But it turned out only 10 to 20%. This is what basically it means. So again, similarly, you are listening to me now, attending this webinar. But how much do you think you will apply when you go back to, how much you will translate into the actual practice to improve your teaching and learning? Maybe only 10%. But 20% is through what we call social learning. This is where we form a learning communities together with our peers, with other lecturers. We share our practices, our best practices or good practices. What we do, what he do, what he does, what she does, and so on. Then we learn from each other what work, what do not work. So we share our experience. So this is through communities, networks, coaching, and mentoring. So we work together with a senior, let's say, professor. So he or she will become a mentor, and we can learn from their experience, their wisdom, and so on. 20% happens within this. And 70% is through experiential learning. New and challenging experiences. This is where we deal with the real world. We deal with, communities outside the universities. We learn through experience. So 70% of our learning actually happens through experiential learning. When we actually doing it, we learn by mistake. We realize that theory is different from practice. So this is a 70-20-10 approach to learning. So when we talk about professional development, when you attend a short course, for example, this could be the 10%. Then when you start working with other people in groups, this will be 20% through social interaction. And when you start doing the practice, so this is where we learn through making mistake and so on. So 70% through experiential learning. Okay, so okay, there's some this slides or this diagram. Let me guide you through this, because there's a very important message or point that I want to convey. Bringing work and learning together. Add learning to the workflow. So when we talk about professional development and the 70-20-10 just now, when we do our job, when we do our work, we want to improve what we do in terms of productivity, in terms of the quality, so quantity, quality as well. So in order to improve both, we need to always improve our skill, our knowledge, because things are moving so fast, remember? So this is where if we just attend courses, attend the webinar and so on, which is part of the 10% formal learning. This is what we call single point solution, where learning separate from work. When we read books, for example, after we read the book, then we close the book. Then after that, we forget about what we have read, because we don't apply directly. At least something that we have learned, we apply directly in our teaching, in our lesson design, in our interaction with the student, design learning activities that would engage student and so on. We don't apply that, we just read. So we just read. That add knowledge to us, for us, but we don't apply. Okay, so in terms of the realized value is relatively low. What we want to move, what we want to achieve here is high value. So this is where through the experiential learning and through social interaction and so on, through reflection, through experiment, by trial and error, and through experience, we and through continuous development, where now we integrate learning to become part and parcel of our work. So we keep on learning and we keep on applying what we have learned. We keep upskilling, we keep relearning, unlearn, relearn, and so on, and then apply that to our work. And as a result, if we do this effectively, the realized value here is very high. And this would translate to what? This would translate to quality, quantity. In other words, productivity. Yeah. Oops. Mana pula perginya? Kacau lah. Okay. Anyone here apa ni boleh confirm Ustaz Rosli ke siapa boleh confirm, can you see my slide? Sorry, ada interruption tadi.
Okay, Ustaz. Saya dah Prof.
Okay,
Okay.
Alright, sorry.
Boleh nampak. Still there.
Minta maaf ya, ada tadi interruption tadi. So, yeah, quantity, quality, productivity. So the bottom line of professional development, personal and professional development, it must translate into improving the quality of our work in terms of teaching, research, and so on. Improving the quantity as well, meaning that we can generate more output, and every output would be impactful in terms of outcome, because quality also improve. So meaning that from formal learning, we want to translate that into actual practice through social interaction, learning from each other and so on, and through trial and error. You learn how to do something in terms of improving student engagement. So why not after this try to incorporate that in your lesson design and see how it can improve your teaching. So it has to be, continuous improvement by practicing the actual thing that you have learned. Not just learn. For example, after you listen to my presentation today, then you have the access to the presentation, but you never look back. You never kind of refresh again and try to take some point from there to apply. So it won't improve much. You kind of get some knowledge, but that's it. So in terms of the value, is rather low on this scale. All right, so you can read this one basically to give some point, to get more points here. So in terms of stages in learning, when we do we attend the courses and so on, ultimately we want to develop competency when we become competent. So when we get the knowledge through reading, through attending, listening to webinar and so on, one understand the meaning. Okay, this is analogy, driving test analogy. First, we read, bila kita ambil lesson kan, I took my driving license in UK, so they gave a book to read. Di sini pun I rasa, I also took my driving license in Malaysia, dia bagi some reading material kan, peraturan atau undang-undang jalan raya. So we read. Just like if you want to learn swimming, you can read as many books as you like, but we just know how to do it. You just know, yeah. Reading, one understand the meaning of driving a car in this case, kemudian skill. Then we start to practice. One is shown how to drive a car. So this is how you masukkan gear and so on, and allowed to practice in non-traffic area. So you start to practice a skill in a safe environment. But after you got a license and you drive more, slowly you start to practice more, sharpen the skill, improve the skill. So one is shown how to drive a car and allowed to practice in non-traffic area because the person has achieved some level of competency. But when you become really competent is when you are able to drive skillfully on his or her own. And you don't even to think about masuk gear dan sebagainya, they become automatic. So that's what expert is. Everything is, you are doing it without realizing it because you are expert already. So in terms of professional development, we want to achieve this level that we become competent, very expert, highly expert, have the expertise that everyone outside our outside Unit 10 also recognize. Yeah. So this is the ultimate aim, goal of doing professional development. I'll show some example to illustrate this one through my own experience, and please feel free also to share your experience. So my dear colleagues, when we talk about personal and professional development, we cannot escape. We have to talk about being a lifelong and life-wide learner. So we have to strive. We have to strive to be a lifelong and life-wide learner. So life as a teacher or as an educator begins the day you realize you are always a learner. Because when it comes to teaching, people say that the best way to learn is to teach. And probably we realize when we teach the subject again and again, every semester we become better because we dive deeper and deeper into the subject, right? So to teach is to learn twice. Meaning that if we want to teach, we want to learn more about the subject, that we will become an expert and become better teacher for the subject. So life as a teacher begins the day you realize you are always a learner. We want to develop this kind of mindset. I'm always a learner. Although I'm a professor of food technology, for example, there's so much more that I still don't know because the discipline is expanding, is moving. There are always new things, especially in the area like computer science. And many areas as well. Some areas probably the progress may be a bit slow, but many disciplines nowadays grow very, very fast. So we always be a learner, always willing to learn new things, put ourselves in that learner mindset or a student mindset. Everyone is a student at any time. At some point, we are a teacher, we are also a learner. So when we look at teaching, and I've shared this slide before in a previous topic when I talk about teaching professionalism or professionalism in teaching, I love to look at this as a journey. So if you have been teaching for 10 years, your journey is 10 years, 20 years, so 20 years. When we reflect the time when we first joined Unit 10, for example, you are still very new, very green. A lot of things you don't know. I'm still very naive, you know. So, but after, I would say, you know, after 5 years, 5 to 10 or 5 to 15 years, where we develop ourselves further through this professional development, we reach a stage where we have these characteristics or attributes of professional educators. And hopefully one day, people outside our institution now will recognize us, or the various institutions, various even national, even the ministry also recognize that you are an expert in something. So this recognition come from other people or from outside, external, outside from Unit 10. So this is where the point where we reach a level of become a scholar, sarjana ilmu. Yeah. So it's a journey. It's a journey of growth from a small plant, which can be uprooted easily if there's a strong wind, right? Until it become very strong tree with strong trunk, a lot of leaf, and very strong root. So if there is a strong wind, it's very hard to uproot this tree. So that's a metaphor, the analogy. So we want to become like this strong tree with very strong akar, roots, a lot of leaves, so a lot of knowledge, skill, wisdom, experience. Basically, this is a professor. I just came across TikTok recently, based on one article by lecturer, when they said many professors in Malaysia are Professor Kangkong. It's kind of upset me when I listen to that TikTok. Well, they can say whatever they like, but we know ourselves. You can ask yourself whether you are Professor Kangkong or academic Kangkong, Professor Madhya Kangkong, and or what. So we don't want to become that kind of. People have this perception because we must demonstrate our quality, our scholarship, kesarjanaan. It's our own responsibility. That's why professional development is very important. So from novice to professional to become a scholar, from finding footing in the first 5 years, exploring, to the level where you have adopted all the best practices, you practice it, you improve it, you do research on your own practice, you have evidence that this thing works, this thing doesn't work, to the level where you become a scholar or recognized as a scholar where you are leading. You are leading. Leading means you are, taking people, growing people as well, not just growing yourself because you have basically reached that level. So this is where the time you want to grow other people. You are leading other people. You are developing other people. So this is where the scholar is. If we understand this one, the big picture, then when we take a pause to think about where we are now, am I still here? Am I here or am I here? So this will help us to identify our strength, our weaknesses. In fact, we can do the so-called personal SWOT. Have you done that? Personal SWOT. Oh, I forgot to put that slide. Do your own personal SWOT from time to time. What are my strengths? Because some people, they don't really think about they have strength. And they don't really point out or able to point out what are their strengths. Kalau dalam interview untuk kenaikan pangkat, that's some of my favorite questions. Can you identify 3 of your strengths? And many times, the candidate find it quite difficult to articulate dia punya strength. So it get me thinking, okay, takkan dia tak tahu dia punya strength kan? So tapi boleh berlaku. Weaknesses. If we are aware what are our weaknesses, then we can work on it. We can start to address it through professional development again, through all these courses and so on. So that the weakness can be turned to strength. Then of course, look at opportunities and threats as well. So this is where the professionalism. Professional development, the goal is to develop yourself to become a true professional. So professionalism means enhance the professionalism of teachers and education administrators to become more agile and adaptive in the VUCA world. Wow. So I think at this point, maybe I don't have to really, probably I hope I've managed to convey you the importance of professional development. It's crucial for teachers to stay relevant, enhance the skill and effectively support student learning. So we want to encourage everyone, every staff, academic and non-academic as well. We want to cultivate a culture of lifelong learning. We love learning. So we want to provide support. So CAFEL is here to provide support. Please support CAFEL as well. Support and recognition for teacher development and prioritize access to resources. So the benefits of professional development, we want to enhance our teaching skill. We want to always keep up with the trends. We want to grow continuously. So these are some of the benefits. So to start looking at your professional development, first and foremost is to set a clear goal. What is your goal? The basically so-called your direction. What exactly you want to achieve in the next 5 years and so on. Setting clear goals. Identify specific areas of professional growth and establish achievable objective. Preferably you do the SWOT first, personal SWOT, and then you can do this. Reflective practice from time to time. Take a break, pause, take stock, think about what you have done so far, where the journey take you so far, whether you are now at where you plan, if you have a plan, whether I'm here already, by let's say 12, I should reach kampung, di Kuala Lumpur contohnya, from Penang to Kuala Lumpur, 4 hours. So according to Waze, I should arrive around 12 noon. But you check again the time, 11:30 baru sampai Tapah. So meaning that I need to speed up a bit so that I can reach at a promised time, because I promised someone to see someone at 12. So this is where, when I say check your speedometer, check your speed, whether you are moving at speed or too slow or too fast. Too fast pun tak bagus juga, ya. Seeking feedback and support. Kenapa too fast tak bagus? Cuba fikir. Too fast not so good. Yeah. In terms of our career path, do you think too fast is also maybe not that good? Yeah. Maybe we can discuss about that. Seeking feedback and support. So why not we ask our dean, ask our colleagues, ask our students, ask our wife, husband. So seeking feedback and support, whether we are doing the right thing, whether we are on the right track, whether we are moving at speed and so on. Of course, when we talk about professional development, there are challenges. Anything must have some form of challenges. For the first one, selalu orang kata, tapi saya tak ada masa lah. I have too much on my plate. Ni webinar ni every week, every month ada webinar kafel ni. Macamlah kita ada masa nak dengar. Kan? We have so many important thing to do. Time constraint. That's why we said professional development, you need to invest your time. So everyone is constrained with time. But we need to prioritize. If we value our growth, our professional development, then we make a point. Make a point, yeah, because we want to learn. Juggling teaching responsibilities with attending workshop or pursuing additional learning can be challenging, yes. Kalau webinar tu okey jugalah, okeylah dengar je lah. Tapi sambil tu kita buat kerja lain lah kan. Well, everyone has their, if you really want to learn, maybe you want to listen, because when you listen, you are thinking about it. But if you are doing other things at the same time, maybe you are not really focusing. Then you think that you will come back and listen again or read the slide again. It's not the same. So I, for one, if I decide to attend any program, webinar especially, if I attend, I will become an active participant. I will contribute in the chat. I will share the point of the speaker in the form of my own word, in my own words in the chat, so that other participants who care to learn, they can benefit from my sharing as well. So that's how I learn. Make use of the time, because every second count. And limited resources, because you say, okay, I want to go for a short course. I want to take this certificate from Google, but it costs a few thousand ringgit. I don't have this money to need, so I need funding. And this is where the institution can help. Yeah. Access to professional development opportunities, inadequate funding and access to professional development opportunities hinder growth. I will share some stories, my own experience, where I overcome the issue of inadequate funding. Yeah. Something that I want to highlight. We usually use the term training. Okay, kita attend training, but we seldom use the term professional development. Sebenarnya ada sedikit perbezaan ya. When we say training, training is operational. It teaches people how to be competent at their job. So they're very specific. Okay, I want to learn how to design online assessment. So we attend the workshop just to learn that particular skill. Very focused, very narrow, very specific. Operational. Mainly just day-to-day thing that we need to improve. Yeah. On demand. Training gets people to be compliant. Okay. So kita kata, okay, you don't know how to do do constructive alignment in your OBE document. Okay, attend the course. So it's more of so that we can do things properly, so we comply. If you don't do it properly, you need to be trained so that you can comply. Short term, immediate needs, here and now. So on demand, I mentioned just now. Professional development is more strategic. It's not just to cater our needs now or today, but for jangka masa, for the next 3 years, 5 years. We look further, further away. It's about professional growth. That's why we call it professional development. The learning that happened at this level is often conceptual. It's more like a philosophical kind of thing, more like understanding the big picture, more strategic. Yeah, professional development gets them committed, because again, remember I mentioned about intrinsic motivation. we want our staff now to appreciate the value of upskilling, the value of learning new things, because that would translate into their higher quality work, more quantity, higher productivity. Then when we have KPI, we are not worried so much, because we know we can deliver, not only deliver the KPI, but we can deliver more. Focus on the long term, expected to bear fruit over a long period of time. We don't expect immediate results, but we know, because there is more kind of long term, we will be there and we will accomplish what we hope to achieve in the next few years. So that's training versus professional development. When it comes to teaching, I have shared this slide before. Specifically, when we talk about professional development in terms of teaching, research is, we're going to have another framework for research competency. Yeah? So we are talking about competence here. Competence, meaning that you are able to deliver beyond excellence. You have knowledge mastery of your subject area. Suppose you have a PhD in something, but it turned out that maybe you have to teach a subject which is not your PhD, not your specialization. For whatever reason, you need to teach other courses that not really your core expertise. But you cannot just complain, unhappy about it, but because you are given the task now, you have to deliver. That is what professionalism is about. So rather than complaining, okay, I need to upskill. I need to acquire new knowledge and skill in this particular course that I need to teach, to the level where I get the mastery. I become really very expert. I have deep knowledge. I can teach, very well. Practice scholarly teaching, meaning that we want to, whatever that we do in teaching, it is based on certain theory, certain evidence that have been proven to work from research. That's what it means by scholarly teaching. Not just shock sendiri, because you think it works. You think it works, but where is the evidence? So we need to use something that is evidence-based, has been proven that it works. Adjustment to environment, define pedagogy, and so on. So then conduct. Being a professional, academic, professional teacher, you must demonstrate and practice values. Carry oneself in a respectable manner, including how we talk, how we speak, how we treat people, how we dress even. I don't know, but I put some emphasis on that. Even how we dress, how we walk, even these are kind of the persona that we put, the image that we put for our students, so that we earn the respect. Respect has to be earned, right? Communication, effective and proper relationship. This is all the conduct, how we conduct ourselves as a professional educator. Then, of course, it translates to performance. So, the last part I want to talk about professional development in terms of you have the expertise how to teach, pedagogical knowledge. We call it pedagogical knowledge and pedagogical content knowledge. I have the next slide that detail this one. So to save time, I just very briefly explain. Pedagogical knowledge is about the general art and science of teaching. We understand the theory, we understand the evidence. This is what we call scholarly teaching just now. So this is under pedagogical knowledge. So CAFEL have designed a series of topics or webinars and also workshop and short courses to cover this part. Because we have PhD in engineering, PhD in other things, not PhD in education. So we need to acquire this knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, so that when we teach, when we do whatever in our classroom, it is based on the proper theory and research evidence. Then the other one is pedagogical content knowledge. let's say you're teaching mechanical engineering or electronic engineering. So how do you teach a particular course or content? The way you teach, let's say, a course on philosophy, and to teach a course on process control in engineering, electronic engineering, process control, highly technical, and the other one is basically more like knowledge based. So the way we teach the content is different, and we need to learn how to teach the content, a different type of content, in different ways. So this is what we call pedagogical content knowledge. It's about applying this knowledge specifically to the teaching of certain content. So pedagogical knowledge provides the groundwork for effective teaching practices based on evidence, based on theory, while PCK, pedagogical content knowledge, is about tailoring, customizing these practices to the specific needs and characteristics of the subject matter. The way you teach engineering is different from you teach science. The way it is different from you teach management courses or arts. Different approaches, different strategies, different technique, different tactics. But both are essential for effective teaching. But PCK is often what differentiates a good teacher in specific field. Pedagogical content knowledge is what differentiates a good teacher, a good lecturer in the specific field. So that's very general. So this is a detail. I'm not going to go through this one. So I hope you can find time when you get a link to see the difference, comparison between pedagogical knowledge and pedagogical content knowledge. And again, I mentioned about competency framework, meaning that when we design the professional development program or training program under CAFEL, so CAFEL for next year, we will, for 1 year calendar, we will design a few topics under each of these competency. So Alhamdulillah, Unit 10 now has a so-called framework for teaching excellence. And inshallah soon we will have also framework for research excellence. We work together with Dato' Zamri and the gang from our from research punya group lah, yeah. So we will come up with a research competency framework. But what this means is, when you attend all this program and yang run by CAFEL, at the end of the year, you can map your competency based on the training that you have attended to this particular competency. Okay, and hopefully one day, next year, everyone will have a dashboard so that you can see, okay, what kind of courses, webinars, trainings, workshop I have attended this year, and you can see the dashboard in the form of infographic. You can see, okay, in terms of skill, in terms of competency, how much you have on this one, on this one, on this one. It will be a very beautiful way of looking at your progress and your development. Inshallah. And I want to say something about this, single expertise versus multiple expertise. In a modern professional landscape, there's an ongoing debate about the merits of building single expertise versus cultivating multiple areas of expertise. So I want to cut short this one. Oh, okay. This is what we call T model. T model means you want to have a broad-based competencies and then at least one expertise. Dapat ini pun good, is quite good already. So let's say I'm a lecturer in food technology. So in food technology, we have many kind of sub area: food processing, food science, food nutrition, food engineering, food security, food safety, food biotechnology, and so on. As a professor of food technology, I should be able to talk about very broadly all these various kind of areas under food science and technology. But I don't want to be jack of all trades and master of none. So I must have at least one expertise. So this is where we develop expertise in terms of teaching as well as research as well. So T model. But would it be better? This one I don't have time to explain, but you can go through. Would it be better if we have broad-based competencies as well as more than one competency or expertise? This is what we call M knowledge, M profile, at least 2 or 3 different expertise, deep expertise in the area. This really to me powerful, very powerful, a real professor. Okay. Ada pula real professor, nanti ada fake professor pula ya. Okay, within like 10 minutes to wrap up, types of professional development. Okay, what can we do? We can attend workshop and conferences, educational website. There are so many. I will give you some example. Online courses, there are plenty now. Webinars like what we are having now. And also don't forget about learning communities like my Facebook, academia, the world of academia. These actually learning communities. I don't know, I hope all of you listening here have joined my Facebook group, the world of academia. Basically, the Facebook group is a good example of learning communities. So we have one Facebook group on certain area, discipline or subject. People who join that basically are people of like-minded, having the same interest, the same passion. So this is where we can network, we can exchange ideas, share resources, and so on. So the rest is I want to share my own experience. For example, in the first 10 years, when I joined USM, I took the opportunity to use all the fundings available, especially to attend short courses and workshop and certification, professional certification outside the countries. The fundings at that time was orang kata apa, plenty. But not many people really wanted to use the funding. So I used the funding in the first 10 years. I attended so many workshop, short courses all over the world, especially the one that has certification, professional certification. So this one, for example, in Australia, Melbourne, this one, yeah. I attended a course. This is a 5 days intensive course. At the end, I will get a professional certification that will enable me, to qualify me to inspect food factory, to inspect the retort that produce the canned food. Yeah, not everyone can do that. Yeah, must be professionally certified. So this is the participant, not many, and only one from academic, myself. The rest are from industry. Yeah, and out of this, only I think 4 people passed. The passing mark is 80. Yeah, only 4 passed. The rest fail. They don't get the professional certification. The 4 is including myself. And with that certification, I get the instructor was someone who has 25 years experience in industry. The whole course is based on problem-based, real industry problems. So we work on the problem one by one. So when I came back with a big folder with the real problem, industry problem, which now I can use in my own classroom. Not available in the textbook. So I got a certificate. I got a big teaching material that I can use. And this is so-called really teaching beyond the textbook. So can you see how much this can, really benefits you and the students? And I attended the advanced courses 2 more times. I got more certificates and a better, more expert in this particular area. This one is okay. Apart from the university funding, I also use the external fellowship. For example, this one under JSPS, Japanese Society for Promotion of Science. So I got twice the different year. And this one, I went to research institute as a research scientist for nearly 2 months. And this is a time where I really learned some new techniques and produce publication. Really put my time to use my time, utilize my time to really learn new things and produce very good publication together with scientists there. So again, investment of time, energy. I left my family for 2 months in Penang. So sacrifice requires some sacrifice as well. So this is part of the investment. This one, also with the scientists in Osaka, part of the JSPS program, where I expand my networking with the Japanese scientists in my area. This one, another year, I went for 3 months now, longer, again under JSPS. This one in Kagoshima. And I went here to learn 2 new advanced method for my research. The instrument not available in Malaysia, so I went here to learn new technique. So can you see how we develop? This one is in terms of research, yeah. But in terms of this one, this one I attended in Sydney. This conference, sorry, in Melbourne also. But I want to give you some advice here. Don't attend only academic conference. This one was organized by Cisco, yeah, industry conference. And I realized industry conference is different from academic conference. And I learned so much in this 3 or 4 days industry conference, more like kind of practical application and so on. Website, you can learn from website. And I'm sharing with you 2 of my favorite website. For example, this one, e-learning industry. If you want to learn anything about online learning, e-learning, you will find a lot of free ebooks, everything here. There's so much of good stuff on this website. Online courses. Macam I skip something. Oh, never mind. Online courses. If you go to website like Future Learn, you can find under teaching, you can find a lot of courses that you can learn and get certificates. Get a certificate from various universities that offer this course on Future Learn platform. University of Scotland, University of Glasgow, and Imperial London, Imperial College London, and everyone can actually take the courses here. This is just an example here. This is non-credit bearing, but there's also credit bearing courses. Online teaching, creating courses for adult learners. But this one you have to pay. But if you get the funding from university, you can take this one and you can get the full certificate from the Open University endorsed by Association of Learning Technology here. Example only. So lastly, finally, I want to share 2 articles. Later on, when you get access for this presentation, you can click here to read the full article. And this is my blog actually. If you are an educator, don't stop learning. Some advice to become a truly professional 21st century educators. In fact, if you want to grow as an educator, not just read or attend workshop and so on, not just publish in your own discipline, why not write also on other things? You will find that it will really sharpen your mind, sharpen your thinking, your articulation, and so on. So if you go to this blog, maybe you want to read other articles on this blog, I write about education and so on. You can read here. And the other article here is learn from the best. Here I share my experience attending, taking the fellowship and then go for short-term attachment, 2 months, 3 months in Japan especially. So I share my experience here in this blog. So as a conclusion, embracing professional development empowers educators to evolve positively, impact student achievement, and transform education. So thank you very much, my dear colleagues who stay on to listen. This is the access link, so maybe you want to take a picture of this, or maybe I can copy this link and put in the chat box, but you probably can also take the picture snapshot of the screen, and then later on you just go to this address to access the whole presentation. I think what I can do now, I just copy this one is yeah. Yeah, someone can also help me to type or to share the link in the chat. Yeah. All right, so I guess ada lagi ya. Inilah habis. Okay, now maybe we can have like 5 minutes, 10 minutes for discussion if there's any questions. Ada sebarang soalan ke ataupun apa-apa, if you want to share any thoughts or your own experience in terms of professional development, maybe you can unmute the microphone.
Assalamualaikum Prof.
Waalaikumsalam. Boleh saya tahu siapa ni?
Saya Mahlinda Yu. Sihat Prof.
Puan Ayu. Okey. Okey, silakan Puan Ayu. Saya nampak ada satu soalan from Prof Izam. Tak apa, teruskan dulu.
Okey, saya just sekadangnya bertanya lah berkenaan tentang professionalism ni kan. For those who yang tidak ada PhD, masih ada possibility ke the word professional tu macam mana cakap didapati? Maksudnya, bila sebut professional in academic ni, ramai yang akan, saya rasa the common idea ialah orang tu perlu ada PhD, so on and so forth lah. So for those who yang tidak ada PhD lagi atau tidak ada PhD, adakah masih layak ke untuk the word that professional tu? Terima kasih Prof.
Okay, terima kasih Puan Ayu. Actually, professionalism or being a professional it's nothing to do with PhD or having the highest qualification. I mean, not to say nothing to do. Maybe that's a wrong word. But you don't have to have PhD to be a professional. A professional in what? Meaning in our context, a professional educator. Yeah, a professional educator. And even if you don't have a PhD, you just have masters, or even just you have a first degree and you teach. If you fulfill the criteria of being a professional educator, meaning that, remember the one slide just now, you teach, you are really expert in the subject matter that you are teaching. Really very good. Okay. But you don't have a PhD. But when you teach that course, you really have the expertise to teach that course. And when you teach using the scholarly teaching approach. You understand the theory behind it. You understand whatever that you do work because the research has shown that it works. So those are the so-called one part of the professionalism in teaching. The other part is, remember I mentioned about conduct, the way you carry yourself. Students really respect you. Students really look up to you. Even your peers also respect you because they know, you are an excellent teacher. You conduct yourself very well, conduct yourself professionally. You not only helping your student, you're also helping your peers. You're also helping your department. You're also growing other people. You helping other people to grow. So conduct and also performance. The other one is performance. So when you have all these three elements, remember that slide on professionalism in teaching just now, then you are basically you can say that you are professional because you are displaying or demonstrating that characteristics or attributes of professionalism. If I've got a PhD and I don't display or demonstrate those attributes or characteristics, then I cannot say that I am a professional. I have that professionalism because you don't display. So can you see, you can have 2 PhD, 2 masters, but you are not really professional because you don't display that characteristics. So we have to go back to those. What make you or qualify you to be recognized as a true professional in the context of being an educator? So don't worry, Ponayu, tak ada PhD tak semestinya. What is PhD? PhD is basically you are specializing in a certain area of a certain subject matter or area of research. You go deep into it and become a real expert in that particular narrow subject matter. That's what PhD is about. Okay, so I hope that answers Ponayu.
Kasih Prof, really inspiring.
Yeah. So PhD is just orang kata a bonus lah, I would say. Okay. And I'm sure everyone here have seen people with PhD. I've seen many. Ya orang kata alamak tak professional lah dia tu kan. Okay. Dalam konteks teaching, dalam konteks research, dalam konteks how they work together with the industry, contohnya. Contoh kalau kita kata you are not really professional in terms of your research, in terms of you take up a project with industry, then after that you abandon the project halfway, you don't deliver lah, in other words. Is that professional? No, it's not professional because you fail to demonstrate your ability to perform. You fail to demonstrate your ability to perform or to accomplish the work to the completion. You're not professional. Tapi ada 2 PhD mungkin. Okay? Or maybe you've been around in the university or in the academic for 20 years. But everything you touch, many of the things that you touch actually fail. Or you don't deliver a lot of things. So, okay, Prof. Izam still here. I want to answer your question. Prof. Izam masih kat sini ke?
Ada.
Ada ya. So Prof, sorry I mentioned about life-wide learning tadi tapi I tak explain because I think there will be another topic when I don't know, maybe tak sempat this year, maybe next year when I talk about, I hope I can share with you all another topic on lifelong and life-wide learning. Lifelong learning is basically from cradle to grave. Maknanya we learn all the time sampailah kita mati, kan? From cradle to grave, we learn and learn and learn continuously, acquire new knowledge, new skill. Life-wide learning Remember the M profile just now? M profile, meaning that we don't want to learn just one things and go deep, but we don't learn about other things. So for example, I'm a professor of food technology. Well, I can claim that I'm an expert in food technology. I can talk about food technology, but can I talk about, let's say, sustainability? Can I talk about SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, the 17 SDG? Can I talk about global issues, climate change? Can I talk about what's happening now in Israel and Palestinian? Can I talk about politics? Can I talk about geopolitics? Can I talk about economy? Can I talk about the de-dollarization now? Whether we want to move away from dollar to other currencies, how it can affect the economy. So you see, as an academic, we want to learn as many things as possible. That's remember. So you have a broad-based knowledge, and you want to have at least more than one expertise. So for example, my expertise is actually in terms of research, starch technology, starch, kanji. That is my primary research area for almost 20 years. Well, maybe more if I count PhD. Then, after 20 years, I get interested in another so-called biopolymer, which is protein. So I get a chance also to work together with another research group to explore about halal gelatin, collagen. That's why I can talk about collagen. I have some knowledge. So after 20 years, for 20 years, I have primary research area which is on starch, one expertise. But after 20 years, I move to a secondary research area, which is more on the protein. This one is on carbohydrate. Starch is carbohydrate, then collagen and gelatin is under a so-called protein. And I developed this area for another 8 years before I retire. Maybe more than that, maybe about 10 years. So I have publication also. When you look at my list of publication, 3/4 of it, 70%, 75% is, you can see the keyword starch, carbohydrate. And 1/4 of it, you can see on collagen, gelatin, proteins, and so on. So people can see, oh, okay, these are primary research area, the secondary research area. So in terms of expertise, I have two, in terms of research. But in terms of teaching, I also developed some kind of expertise in teaching, although I don't have a diploma or degree in education. So after like almost 30 years, I believe I have developed more kind of wholesome, holistic kind of knowledge and expertise that give me the ability to share with people in Malaysia and also globally around the world. Will give me also the confidence and the kind of the apa nak kata ya, kelebihan lah untuk dapat berkongsi, with others, because I have that kind of and also give me the kind of wide perspective, looking at the world in a wider perspective with that wisdom and knowledge. Itu yang kita panggil life wide. Kalau lifelong learning, meaning you learn throughout your life. Life wide, you find all the opportunities to learn as much as you can and develop at least 2 or 3 area of expertise beyond your main discipline.
Okay, Prof. So does it means in general it will make you more wholesome lah as a
Wholesome.
person and an educator.
More wholesome, more holistic, more balanced.
Okay.
And Prof, from my own experience what I feel and how do you acquire this? Itulah tadi, through reading. Reading is number one I would say. I read a lot. I invest a lot in books, online courses. Then previously in the first 10 years macam I kata tadi, I attend seberapa banyak kursus-kursus luar negara, dalam negara, selagi ada. I was so kind of greedy at that time, greedy for knowledge, hungry for knowledge. So we want to see this in all academics, in all ahli academic, greedy, hungry for knowledge. Because kita ahli academic, kita intellectual. So you cannot call yourself intellectual if you don't have very kind of deep knowledge, not only in your PhD, but in other things. And people can see that when you have discussion and so on, when people engage you in the discussion, let's say when you have discussion with people in the industry. I remember, I want to share something with you all, quite personal. In the early days, when I was younger, and I look even younger, sometimes how you look can work to your disadvantage. And a lot of people say that I look young at that time and look younger is actually work to my disadvantage. Because I notice when I have discussion with people from industry and so on, I rasa macam dia orang tak ada keyakinan tau. Initially, the first impression. But I compensate that dengan showing and demonstrate my knowledge, my expertise. So I noticed after some discussion, I noticed that the impression and the perception of the people start to change. And then slowly I earn the respect. So this is something yang, tapi kalau I tengok macam contoh Prof Hizam, this is sincere, Prof Hizam your keterampilan and so on kan, you ada that kind of so when first impression people can feel the confidence tapi when you start orang kata buka mulut and people yang memang expert and so on, they can start to see how deep or how shallow is your knowledge, how expert you are in your own discipline. They can start to see and they can start to make a judgment. So that's why we need to have that kind of holistic orang kata balance so learn as much as you can. You will find that it will work to your advantage and it will give you kind of aura and charisma and credibility. Credibility, that's a keyword. Credibility, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Very interesting.
Okay, ada lagi kah soalan? Kita gunakan peluang ni dengan secara santai-santai ni untuk melihat bagaimana kita boleh membangunkan diri kita secara personal and professional supaya nanti kita nak secara kolektif when you go out you carry the image and the flag of Unit 10. Before VC kita sebelum Prof Azwan pergi itu, I think 2 months or 1 month before that I WhatsApp dia. I kata, Prof, can Unit 10 design satu kind of graphic supaya kita boleh letak ni dalam setiap slide kita. Setakat yang kita ada ni logo Unit 10 tu. So I put the slide because I want to be the ambassador of Unit 10 because I'm now with Unit 10. So I put the logo on every slide. Tapi logo Unit 10 ni bergantung kepada slide yang kita punya color dan background. Kadang-kadang dia tenggelam. So I show the example of what USM did. So kata, Prof, kalau Unit 10 boleh buat macam ni, baguslah. So kita gunakan ni sebagai branding Unit 10. Dan kita keluarkan guideline kepada semua staff supaya semua presentation kita when you go out kita letak this Tapi I don't know setakat ni saya kata okay, it's a good idea, dia kata dia setuju. dia akan minta COO ke untuk ni. But I don't know, I'm not aware whether they already keluarkan yang ni belum ya. Tapi what I'm trying to say here, when we go out collectively, when you present a seminar, workshop, you can conduct a workshop outside, or you present a paper at international or local even conferences and so on. The moment you go up on the stage, you carry yourself in such a way that, oh, okay, speaker from Unit 10, professor from Unit 10, and then you start to give your presentation. You want the people to look at the image of Unit 10. You want the Unit 10 to be proud of you, and the people can see also the image of presentation or presenter from Unit 10. So if we do this collectively, everyone have this kind of mindset to bring the image of Unit 10, the best image of Unit 10 through my credibility, through my expertise, through my work, through my writing, through my presentation and so on. Kalau ini dapat dilakukan, insya-Allah Unit 10 akan menjadi nama yang besar. So bergantung kepada leadership lah, kan? Dan juga leadership akan cascade this message to everyone. Setiap orang memainkan peranan, tidak ada pengecualian. Okay,
Prof,
so
Assalamualaikum Prof.
Waalaikumsalam ya, Puan Zurina ya.
Sorry
Ini-
Prof, saya
neighbor,
nak tanya
neighbor.
satu.
Ya,
Prof,
silakan.
Bila saya dengar talk tadi, sharing session tadi, kan, building professionalism in academia ni involve beberapa combination seperti knowledge, skills and attitudes, kan.
Ya.
Sekarang ni, how to identify this knowledge, skill and attitude? Macam siapa yang akan maklumkan kepada Rin lah contohnya, if you want to be professional as a lecturer ke researcher, kan, macam mana kita nak dapatkan tahu what is the knowledge, skill, attitude yang kita perlu? Sebab macam kalau student dia ada study path, kan, maknanya daripada SPM dia boleh pergi ke CJ, dia boleh pergi ke sama mana. Jadi macam career, macam lecturer path tu macam mana? Dia perlu ada apa competency card dia ada apa lecturer scorecards dia. Macam mana kita nak tahu that I'm in the right track right now, Prof?
Yes.
Boleh
So this is
bantu tak share?
ya. Ini jawapannya. Yang ini yang Kafel telah bangunkan. Yang ini yang kita panggil sebagai competency framework. So maknanya I don't know, jadi kecil pula. Ya. So yang ini kita telah bangunkan dan kita akan mula laksanakan insya-Allah pada first quarter 2024 ya, Dr. Jana ya. I don't know Dr. Jana still here. So this is one of the big agenda for next year. Dan untuk melaksanakan yang ini kita kena ada CPD system. Jadi kalau Puan Zurina tengok di sini ni, whether you have reached that level of in terms of teaching ya, in terms of teaching professionalism ni, ini areanya scholarly teaching, curriculum design and management, scholarship, student learning experience, professionalism and ethics, and academic leadership. Jadi Kafel akan design kursus-kursus dalam bentuk webinar, short course, workshop bagi setiap satu area ni. Kemudian kita akan tawarkan dalam kalender dalam setahun 2024. Then the staff will attend. Bila you attend, you will be recorded dalam sistem CPD. Dan kalau sistem CPD nanti bersedia sampai satu point di mana kita dah ada dashboard nanti, so every staff will be able to access dia punya dashboard dan dia boleh tengok lah, misalnya pertengahan tahun bulan Jun, baru dah 6 bulan dah tahun ni kan, area mana yang you dah so called develop, you have attended workshop or training on which area. So from there you can make kind of your own assessment of how much you have developed in terms of skill, in terms of knowledge, in what area from the dashboard. And the head of department or the decan also will be able to see the dashboard of their staff. Kemudian dia juga boleh melihat dashboard yang summarize untuk the whole department as well. So ada dua jenis dashboard, satu dashboard untuk individual, satu dashboard untuk the whole department atau faculty. The other one is dashboard for the institution, the whole university. So VC boleh tengok kan, okey tahun ni unit 10 dari segi pembangunan kompetensi, apa fokus kita, apa yang telah kita kita fokuskan, how much funding yang telah go into this dan sebagainya. So kalau dekan boleh tengok, katakan boleh tengok untuk Puan Zurina apa yang dia dah buat tahun ni kan. So dia pun tengok dan dia kata, oh okey, nampaknya Puan Zurina tahun ni fokus too much on online student contohnya kan. So okey, untuk tahun depan ni saya rasa saya nak, because dia nampak dia punya perkembangan perkembangan kepakaran dengan okey, mungkin tahun depan ni saya nak cakap dengan Puan Zurina, I want you to focus more on curriculum design and management, sebab saya aim nanti Puan Zurina untuk menjadi dalam succession plan, I want you to become apa dipanggil ketua program ke apa ke kan.
Yes, betul.
This how yang berlaku in some universities now, sebab dia orang ada competency framework ni dan juga CPD.
Manage kan, kita manage kita punya people.
Yes,
Dia strength and apa
exactly.
advantage kita.
Exactly. Kalau HR ni dia kata talent management.
Yes, betul.
Talent management. Ini ni maksudnya talent management ni. Kita manage.
Betul, Prof.
We manage the talent, we develop the talent, we nurture the talent, we manage them, then we help them to progress in their career path. Ya, kita akan ada satu lagi framework untuk research tau.
Good,
So,
okay.
Ya, research ini dalam proses baru nak mulakan proses membangunkannya lah. So, can you imagine now dalam dashboard setiap orang staff akademik, you boleh tengok satu dashboard on teaching, satu dashboard on research.
So bosses boleh lah identify kan yang mana yang tak bergerak, what happen kan. Macam kadang-kadang bukan kita tak nak, because we don't have the capabilities. Bila kita buat and then the project sangkut sana sini, and then that is the thing lah buat kita macam, to me lah, based on my experience lah kan. Sebab kita tak tahu what kind of skill yang kita nak. Lepas tu itulah, kalau ada macam ni alhamdulillah lah, the direction, the guidance is there lah kan.
Contoh ya, macam research ya. Katalah dekan tengok staff A ni, dia research dia tak jalan sangat. Kenapa tak jalan sangat, dia tengok research grant pun dia tak minta. So bila dia tengok dalam competency punya dashboard, dia memang dia tak pernah hadir workshop on research grant writing. Dia boleh nampak dalam dashboard tu. So nanti dia akan panggil dan berbincang dengan staff ni, saya nampak you punya research ni tak berjalan. So saya nampak you ada kekurangan kemahiran dalam penulisan grant. Saya nampak di dashboard ni you tak pernah hadir bengkel penulisan grant. So why not next year I want you to focus on untuk research punya, I want you to focus first on research grant writing. You must acquire the skill on research grant writing. Dan kalau you dapat kompetensi ni, kalau you dah betul-betul competent, bila you submit you punya grant ni, chances dia 80% untuk dapat. Macam tu. Itu dia punya kompetensi, penilaian kompetensinya. Macam mana nak tahu dah kompeten ke tidak? Bila you submit the grant, chances nak dapat tu 80%. Bukannya 50%. Itu untuk research. Teaching pun sama juga. Inilah dia mengapa when I come to Unit 10, this is the first thing that I see what we need at Unit 10. It's because saya sebut pada Prof Azwan ke ataupun Prof Ramesh, saya katakan it's not fair, even pada Prof Izam pun dulu saya pernah sebut, it's not fair to put the KPI on the staff, asking them to deliver, expecting them to deliver 100%, and yet we don't empower them. Empower them with the necessary skill and knowledge how to do it, how to deliver it. So empowerment, remember awal tadi saya sebut tentang empowerment. Inilah dia maksudnya. Empowerment. Kita kena empower people. Di sinilah professional development yang kita perlukan. Empower people until they are competent, until they are empowered and competent. And then barulah adil, barulah sesuai kita letakkan KPI di atas batu jemala masing-masing lah. Alright, I think it's a very good discussion lah. Okay, so ada lagi kah?
Thank you,
Kita
Prof.
tadi-
Thank you so much.
Kita sepatutnya sampai 11.30, tapi I'm okay kalau you all ada masa kalau nak berbincang. Ada satu ni, Prof, in bahasa can we say pembelajaran sepanjang hayat, pembelajaran tanpa penghujung, tanpa hujung. Ya, saya rasa pembelajaran sepanjang hayat untuk lifelong learning. Pembelajaran tanpa hujung atau tanpa penghujung pun sesuai jugalah. Tapi yang standard kita gunakan dalam dokumen blueprint adalah pembelajaran sepanjang hayat. Ya. Kita ada blueprint tau, National Blueprint on Lifelong Learning. Tapi macam biasalah, blueprint, tapi in terms of implementation ni tak sejauh mana. That's why I believe you can have whatever blueprint ya. Macam Unit 10 ada BOL. Ya. Bagus nama tu dah, akronim tu dah BOL. But are you bold enough? Is Unit 10 bold enough to really realize the vision and mission? Are the people bold enough to really deliver the best and beyond the best? Berani? Adakah kita berani kan? So kalau kita nak invest duit untuk beli buku pun tak berani, so tak bold lah tu. Kan? So, ada apa-apa lagi kah? Kalau boleh kita ada dialog ni bagus jugalah. Kan? Kita berkongsi rasa, perasaan, aspirasi. So kita nak membangunkan Unit 10 bersama-sama. Collectively, remember? That's the word. Siapa lagi ada kat dalam ni? Betty, Dr. Betty. Anything? Betty is a loyal follower of CAFEL program. Thank you. Anything, Betty?
Not yet because
Not yet.
I joined in late because
Oh.
I have something else to do. But when I joined, I did listen to what Prof has shared, and I think I wish to thank Prof for voicing out regarding the KPI method to Prof Ramesh, I believe.
I know, I understand. I came from USM. So, as you know, research university, kan? We have to deliver.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, not
yes,
delivering the KPI is not an option for us. Because
and then I think
yeah,
I think this is the first time we heard about life-wide learning, and that is what very inspiring, because like in Chinese word, when we say PhD, the title for PhD, it actually means you have a lot of knowledge. It is not just focused on one thing. If in Mandarin the title it actually means that part. So when it is life-wide learning, yeah, it really remind us to not just focus on one thing, but of course it will take more time to explore different field.
Yeah, so we want to be jack of all trades, but master of a few things. Not master of none, not master of only one thing, but master of 2 or 3 or more things. And if we put ourselves intentionally to develop our deep knowledge in more than one areas, siapa yang untung? So kita sendiri, kita sendiri. And because I'm speaking from my own kind of experience, because I force myself to learn, outside. This is what we call peripheral area atau peripheral area. So if you imagine a concentric circle, the inside circle is you and your primary expertise, your primary expertise or research niche. But if you expand the radius 360 degree, so you have a second concentric circle. Or maybe I should draw that in another slide nanti. So that's your peripheral area. So meaning that if macam ni lah, macam kita memandu kereta, kita ada blind spot kan. So how to overcome the blind spot? Okay, I usually I will look back and make sure tak ada kereta kat tepi ke apa kan. But you can also put a small mirror in your side mirror, so that you can get a bigger view. So the same thing like as an academic. So that's our peripheral kind of view, not only kind of very myopic, narrow. Apa ni? You can only talk about your research area aja. Tapi di luar daripada tu, you cannot have a conversation. You cannot give an input. I noticed this when we do exam moderation. I don't know whether Unit 10 ada exam moderation or not. Ada tak Unit 10? Bila buat soalan, tapi ke dalam OBE kena ada kan?
Ada.
Kita buat exam moderation kan. So I noticed, and this pensyarah yang agak baru tak dapat nak bagi input yang meaningful sangat. Tapi cannot blame them because they are still new. You know, tapi kadang-kadang pensyarah yang dah lama pun, kalau katakan my subject, dia tak dapat nak bagi meaningful input to my question because maybe they don't really know that particular subject walaupun dalam area yang ni. Tapi because when I put myself, mungkin secara tak sengaja, because baru balik daripada PhD, join the university, biasalah pensyarah baru kena mengajar banyak khusus yang orang lain tak nak mengajar kan. Dan selalu orang akan komplain dan kita rasa terpaksa. But luckily at that time, I was happy to do all the teaching courses yang people don't want. Senior lecturer tak mau. Because I happened to teach the course during my PhD as a graduate assistant and learn a lot of things. So when I came back, they asked me to teach that course yang memang lab-based course lah, lab-based. Lab-based course ni kan tedious kan. So tak apa, so I took the opportunity to revamp the whole experiment and so on. Then after that, I get to teach so many courses in different semesters. So I end up with teaching almost 70% of the courses in the curriculum. 70% almost of the courses in the curriculum. I only realized later that if I don't force myself to teach so many courses in the curriculum, my expertise would be very narrow, and I won't be able to really talk about the whole area of food science and technology. And bila buat moderation, I cannot help in other courses because my knowledge is very shallow on other courses. So that's why the life-wide is about trying to have deep knowledge in other areas as well. And you can see the difference. Yeah. All right. So, well, I can still see as 30 plus people here. So, ada tak lagi maybe one final maybe questions or any comment or input? Tak ada ya? So, kalau tak ada, saya rasa setakat itulah. Saya harap sedikit sebanyak the precious time that you have invested this morning to listen to my sharing have benefited you, something of value to you, if not much, if not many, one or two things that you can internalize and start to apply and practice. Because only by practicing things that we have learned, we can improve and we can expand our kind of repertoire of skill and knowledge that we have. So with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi, and have a nice day, everyone. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank
On
you,
behalf
Prof.
of CAFEL, I would like to
Terima
say
kasih,
thank you
Prof.
to Prof for delivering the
Puan
talk
Mani ada.
this
Okay.
morning.
Cuma nak ingatkan mungkin this morning our title sedikit tertukar dengan yang 5 hari bulan. So tak apa, kita swap lah kiranya. Dalam kalender hari ni tajuk dia re-engineering curriculum. Tapi tak apa Prof.
Okay.
I think kita swap je. 5 hari bulan nanti ada satu lagi webinar oleh Kafel akan disampaikan oleh Prof Karim juga. Jadi kita akan gunakan tajuk yang dalam kalender hari inilah, Reimagining Engineering Curriculum for VUCA World.
Sorry, I thought ya sebab yang kita tak jadi tu kan.
Sebab ada bertukar-tukar kan Prof.
Saya pun confused tadi. Tak apa, tajuk tu dah ready sebenarnya. Tapi last week saya minta maaf sebab saya ada family kematian bapa mertua saya last week. Hari pagi tu yang patut bagi webinar tu dan bapa mertua saya meninggal dunia. So
ya, betul.
okay, insyaAllah.
Tak apa, tak ada masalah Prof. Okay.
Thank you. So Assalamualaikum
Okay.
ya. Okay, have a nice day.
Sahabat boleh isikan feedback ya sebelum tinggalkan bilik ni. Terima kasih semua. Assalamualaikum.
Ada 2 link dekat dalam chat tu, tapi dua-dua orang yang sama.
Link untuk feedback ke Puan Maya?
Yang satu evaluation, satu feedback, tapi dalam dia punya question kat dalam tu sama je saya tengok.
Okey, isi sekali je lah.
Satu cukup lah
Satu cukup lah. Okey, terima kasih.